Dude, it's gotten so unbelievably gold. It is crazy how much gold he keeps adding to the to the fucking Oval Office. Anyway, suit check. My boy is fitted and kitted. He looks a little bit like an assassin, but he is fitted and kitted. The all black on black. That's a sheesh. It's sheesh. Okay, it's an in between. Okay. He does have that shit on. Now let's see.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have the president of Ukraine with us. We've had a lot of good discussions, a lot of good talks, and I think progress is being made, very, very substantial.
Again, one more piece of context. This is immediately following Trump's meeting with Putin in Alaska, which was, not very productive on its face, but, maybe possibly set the stage for beginning the talks between Zelensky and Putin. Now, one quote that Trump, he might say it in this. I just read about it. Trump had a quote where he said, sorry, I wanted to save it because it was so funny. If it's in this, we'll see it. But if it's not, I want you to know it now. He talked about how this is ended up being way harder than he thought. This whole thing. He's like, we got to go talk to Putin, then we got to talk to Zelensky, then we got to talk to Europe, then we got to, and it's like this whole thing, this whole peace thing is like way harder than I thought, which is just a very funny thing to say for a guy who promised to get it done day one so many times. Okay.
Progress in many ways. We had a good meeting, as you know, just a short while ago with the president of Russia.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
And I think there's a possibility that something could come out of it, and today's meeting is very important. We have, I guess, the seven very powerful leaders from Europe, and we're going to be meeting with them right after this meeting, and thank you very much for being here.
Okay, we're not going to watch that meeting. We're not going to watch that meeting, but there is one part of it that's really funny. He clearly doesn't know the president of Finland. Where is it? Here. This is very funny.
President Stubb of Finland, and he's somebody that, where are we here? Huh? Where? I'm right here. Oh. You look better than I've ever seen you look.
Okay. And that seems funny. He's like, where is he? But here's the actual angle. This is the actual angle of where he was when he said that. You think it's across the room, but that's good. That's good. I mean, that's something. So anyway, let's go into this.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. If I can, first of all, thank you for invitation and thank you very much.
All right, he's opening with 5 thank yous. It's crazy that this is what's required, but he's learned the meta. Okay, he's just gonna play it as best he can for his country.
For your efforts.
He VOD reviewed.
Stop killings and stop this war. Thank you. And using this opportunity, many thanks to your wife, First Lady of the United States. She sent a letter to Putin about our children, abducted children, and my wife, First Lady of Ukraine. She gave the letter. It's not to you, to your wife.
Oh, I want.
Yeah. So we're saying this sensitive topic. Yes, please. And thanks to our partners and that you supported this format that after our meeting.
We should have had a thank you counter. Actually, is it at 9? Is it at 9 already? Or are you counting? He just did it again. It's like at least 6.
leaders who are around us, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, EU, NATO, I mean all partners around Ukraine supporting us. Thanks to them, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much for being here.
President Trump.
11 thank yous in the opening.
Yes, Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, President
Why is the quality
Zelensky,
so bad?
you say in a post on X today, Russia must end this war, which it itself started. President Trump, you say President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to. Which is it?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we're going to have a meeting. I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat.
So my understanding, again, I only read about that. I haven't watched this video yet. Is they combined, Zelensky and Trump here, did a collectively better job of not getting baited by the reporters. Which, this is a low bar, but I guess I'll give it, we'll see how it goes, but I'll give it to Trump because he's usually terrible about that. Of not letting the reporter immediately allow you jump into something that breaks it. You know, we'll take those. We'll take those in the interest of making progress on a peace deal. But I don't know why. Is there a better quality source? I'm at 720. Go to 1080 maybe. It's just like.
And I think there will be
This is
a
crazy.
reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
I must find a better one. They're melting in front of our very eyes. I watched it live. It sucked. Okay, we'll just do it. It's like a live stream. All right, fine.
Is this the end of the road for American support for Ukraine? Is today's meeting deal or no deal?
I can never say that. It's never the end of the road. People are being killed, and we want to stop that. So I would not say it's the end of the road. No, I think we have a good chance of doing it. It's been almost 4 years now that a lot of people were killed last week. A lot of people last week. I mean, millions of people killed, but a lot of people last week for whatever reason. A big number, a lot of soldiers, on both sides. And I know the president, I know myself, and I believe Vladimir Putin wants to see it ended.
And as you met with Putin on Friday, today you've got President Zelensky here. As you listen to Russia and Ukraine, which side has the better cards?
Well, I don't want to say that. I'm just here to be. Look,
See, isn't that crazy? They asked which side has the better cards, and he actually gets. I mean, this is the classic Trump playbook where you set the bar in the floor and then you can marginally clear it, and it's like you have to give him praise. But I am giving him praise here because he didn't jump at that, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised he didn't jump at that. They are literally trying to bait, and he's not falling for it, which is probably the first time I've ever seen that. Do you know what I'm saying? Of watching these press conferences with Trump. So the bar's buried, but
this isn't my war. This is Joe Biden's war.
okay, here we go.
He's the one that had a lot to do with this happening, and we want to get it ended.
It didn't
And
last that long.
We want it to end good for everybody. We
Didn't
want
last
it to
that
end
long.
good. The people of Ukraine have suffered incredibly.
And to that point, President Zelensky,
Wait, I really want-
are you prepared to keep sending Ukrainian troops to their deaths for another couple years, or are you going to agree to redraw the map?
Dude, these questions are crazy.
Thank you for your question. So, first of all, you know,
Dude, I have great respect, especially for Zelensky's restraint here. That's a crazy fucking question. The press pool is it's dog water now. He took a deep breath. He said, "Thank you for your question," even though the question was deeply fucking insulting. I don't know. I respect it. He's doing what he can for his country, bro. That question was absurd.
live under each day attacks. You know that today have been a lot of attacks and a lot of wounded people, and the child was dead, small one year and a half. So we need to stop this war, to stop Russia, and we need support, American and European partners, and we will do our best for this. So, and I think we show that we are strong people, and we supported the idea of the United States, of personally of President Trump, to stop this war, to make a diplomatic way of finishing this war, and we are ready for trilateral, as President said. This is a good signal about trilateral. I think this is very good. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Good answer.
Yes, if the peace deal will be achieved, are you going to be willing to send American peacekeepers to Ukraine?
But we're going to work with Ukraine, we're going to work with everybody, and we're going to make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long term. This is very long term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. We're going to make sure that everything's good. We'll work with Russia, we're going to work with Ukraine, and we're going to make sure it works. And I think if we can get to peace, it's going to work. I have no doubt about it.
Okay, that's all record.
Your team has talked about security guarantees. Could that involve U.S. troops? Would you roll that out in the future?
We'll let you know that maybe later today. We're meeting with 7 great leaders of great countries also, and we'll be talking about that. They'll all be involved, but there'll be a lot of help when it comes to security. There's going to be a lot of help. It's going to be good. They are first line of defense because they're there. They're Europe, but we're going to help them out also. We'll be involved.
Vladimir Putin mentioned that the war will not end without addressing the root causes of this war. Have you had an understanding what are the root causes of this war?
Well, look, the war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one.
That's crazy. I don't know what 6 wars he's claiming to have ended. But at least he's recognizing that it's not so easy. That's progress. How hard can ending a war be? I take a quibble with the fact that Vladimir Putin wants this war to end just as bad as everyone else, as he keeps saying, because Vladimir Putin could end the war at any time. He's the one keeping it, like there's no one else keeping it going. He could at any time stop it. It's not,
A lot of reasons for it, and they'll be talking about it for a long time, but they'll be talking about the others. Look, India, Pakistan, we're talking about the big places. When you look at, you just take a look at some of these wars. You go to Africa and take a look at that. Rwanda and the Congo, Republic of the Congo. That's been going on for 31 years.
Republic of the Congo.
We've done a total of 6, and we really have 6, not including the fact that we obliterated, and it turned out to be a total obliteration, the nuclear, as you saw, the future nuclear capability of Iran. And this one, I think we're going to get solved also. I feel confident we're going to get it solved.
is that what he's counting as ending the war? Is that one of the 6? The strikes on Iran? Or that was a war ender? I don't know if that was. Oh, in addition, what are the 6 then? The only one, I could definitely learn more here, but the one that I would say he played a role in, that seemed to have a positive effect, was the one in Rwanda. That was a long-running war. It's only recently ceasefired, but I wouldn't say, like, the India-Pakistan one is very disputed because India claims that the United States barely impacted it at all. I think India-Pakistan was mostly between them. I don't know. Interesting.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you tell us about your conversations with European leaders and what they need to see to support an end to the war?
Yeah, well, we're going to be meeting with a great representative group and 7 very powerful, very big countries and great people, all friends of mine and friends of yours.
Well, they're not all big. They're not, Finland is not a big country. It's just European country. They don't need to be big.
And we're going to have some suggestions made. They want to see peace. They would like to see peace. In the red.
President Trump, do you think it's fair to, for Ukraine and for Russia to achieve a lasting and durable peace if Ukraine cedes its territories that Russia hasn't yet conquered? Do you think it's a fair peace for Ukraine?
We're going to have a lasting peace. Just to answer the first part of your question, we're going to have a lasting peace. I hope it's going to be immediately. I hope it doesn't have to go on. And I think people of the whole world is going to be very happy when that's announced.
You posted on social media, Mr. President, a very touching letter from the First Lady. And the letter was hand-delivered to President Putin. And it calls for an end to the war, essentially, because of the children and the children's future. Why did the First Lady feel that letter was necessary? Was it because she believes that Mr. Putin is the aggressor in the war? Is a similar letter being hand-delivered to President Zelensky?
So the First Lady felt very strongly. She's watched the same thing that you watch and that I watch. I see things that you don't get to see, and it's horrible. But when she's got a great love of children, she has a wonderful son that she loves, probably more than anybody, including me. I hate to say it, but she loves her son. She loves children, and she hates to see something like this happening. And that goes for other wars too. I mean, she sees the heartbreak, the parents, the funerals that you see on television. Always funerals. We want to see something other than funerals. No, she felt it was a beautiful letter. It was very well received by him. And she did ask me to say, she
It was well received by him, though. Are we just being real? Melania gave a letter about saving the children to Putin, and he grinched. His heart grew 3 sizes. A single tear went down his face, and he said, "This change." Like, what do you mean? Is there any realistic chance that had any impact in any way?
would love to see this end. She would love to see it end, and she says it very openly, very proudly, and with great sorrow because so many people have been killed.
Mr. President, last week,
Brian, go ahead, Brian.
Yes, sir. I've got a question for each of you.
Yes.
First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks good on
I
you.
said the one that attacked you last time. See, now he's
I remember that.
I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed. You are not.
He got logged him. It's the reporter that asked him why he wasn't wearing a suit last time. And then Zelensky just said, "I changed, but you're wearing the same suit." That's pretty good. That's a pretty good cook. You got Trump to laugh. Holy moly. This charm tour by Zelensky is working.
No, my first.
Trump loves a good roast, dude. You roast somebody in front of him?
I remember that.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful.
That's the most genuine smile I've seen on Trump in a minute. That's funny. Look at that smile. That's crazy. The reporter should be wearing fatigues. The reporter shows up wearing a fucking flak jacket. That's funny. Look, he's rolling with it. I don't know. I'm impressed with Zelensky's ability to do this.
No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed. You are not.
Maybe yours is much better. Real quickly, upon peace, God willing we get peace, are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances, and a little bit we need to work in the parliament, because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security we need, maybe, how to say, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, in the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
So you say
we're ready.
during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake
You like
news
this
is.
idea?
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of news, I got a question.
That's such a fucking crazy thing for the president to say. It's like a joke, but it's fucking crazy. That's such a crazy thing to say, bro. His eyes light up. All we need is a war. Look at this smile. Maybe this war thing isn't so bad. Rubs hands together. Yeah, I mean, this combos with the news today that he's executive ordering to get rid of mail-in ballots for the 2026 midterms. I don't know if it'll get challenged. I don't know what's going to happen with that. It's just, he hasn't even done it yet. Just the tweet. But, clearly planning for bad election outcomes, because the approval rating is, slowly, steadily dropping. Run back the Iraq war? Yeah, that's a good idea. What we need is go back to Afghanistan and use that to suspend elections. That'll be great.
For you. This sounds insane for me even to ask this, but do you think the American media really doesn't even want a peace deal because they've seen they've been so critical of you every step of the way as you lead the charge for peace?
It's an amazing phenomenon. I said that if in the settlement you got Moscow, St. Petersburg, and thousands of miles around them, they would say I made a bad deal. The level of hatred and animosity is incredible. Not with all. I mean, we have great people up here.
I'm sure President Trump, there are some outlets that have a bone to pick with you. But if you were to negotiate a peace deal where Ukraine got Moscow, I think on the whole, most people would say, wow, that's a really incredible peace deal. That is an incredible negotiation. I think most people would give you credit for that. I don't think that you're close to that. I don't think that's something that's on the table. I think you might be receiving criticism because you came into office promising this would be easy and it would be done day one. In fact, it was your most repeated promise during the campaign. We had a guy track it. 34 separate times you said you'd solve this war on day one. And now that we have no deal, I think it's fair to be somewhat critical.
We also have terrible people up there that I think are told what to say. But, in solving all of these wars, they don't even write about it. I saw major wars. I saw wars that have been going on for 31, 35, and 37, and a couple of quicker ones. One that was going to go into a full-blown deal very quickly. You know what the one I'm talking about.
Dude, he's doing like actors when they want the Oscar and they go on all the press tour. He's doing the Nobel Peace Prize press tour. He's like constantly reminding people of the war. Many people are saying he's Nobel farming, dude. It's on his brain.
It was a big one. But they don't even write about that. No matter what I do, no matter what, and this is not anything to do with you. It's probably to your advantage in a certain way. But no matter what I do, no matter what deal I make, from my standpoint, you'll come out good. Maybe President Putin will come out good. But they'll say, Trump was absolutely horrible. It's just it. And I've lived with that for a long time. I've lived with it since just before the first election. I used to get great publicity. Now I get the worst publicity anyone's ever gotten in.
I take it back. I'm on Trump's side. He's like a streamer. It's the hardest job in the world. Now I see. He's a small bean. I see he's a small bean. He works too hard and no one gives him credit. He's just like a streamer. It's actually such a hard job. Wait, I get it. It's like you beat absolute radiance and then everyone's mad because you didn't give him a Marketing Monday the next day, you know? He works too hard and loves too much.
Office, but I won in a landslide, so that people understand. They're the only ones that count, ultimately. But I've also had great reporters. I've had journalists that are very good. But it's very sad when you do the right thing. As an example, they said, because of the fact that Vladimir Putin came to American soil, this was a tremendous defeat for Donald Trump. No, it was really wonderful that he did it. It was a hard thing for him to do, to be honest with you. It was the opposite of what they said, but they said it. Now, if he didn't come, they'd say that was also bad for Trump. You know, there's no way. And
there's no winning.
There's just a great dishonesty of the press, and I think that's why it's lost its credibility. You know, its credibility is at an all-time low. We have a thing going on right now in D.C. We went from the most unsafe place anywhere to a place that now friends are calling me up, Democrats are calling me up, and they're saying, sir, I want to thank you. My wife and I went out to dinner last night for the first time in 4 years, and Washington, D.C. is safe, and you did that in 4 days. I'll tell you, it's safe. I had another friend.
That's real. That is real. In 4 days, we have lifelong Democrats calling up Trump, calling him sir, and saying he saved the city after federalizing the police force to take control. That's incredible. That's incredible. Wow.
A friend of mine, he has a son who's a great golfer. He's on tour. And he
He's
came
like
in
Batman
fourth
in Gotham,
yesterday
yeah.
in the big tournament where Scotty Scheffler made the great shot. And he said his son is going to dinner in Washington, D.C. tonight. I said, would you have allowed that to happen a year ago? He said, no way. No way. He said, what you've done is incredible. And I think the people realize it. But the press says, he's a dictator. He's trying to take over. No, all I want is security for our people. But people that haven't gone out to dinner in Washington, D.C. in 2 years are going out to dinner. And the restaurants the last 2 days were busier than they've been in a long time. Thank you.
I walked around yesterday.
Restaurants saved. Crime out of D.C. That's incredible. I will say, you did make a joke 5 minutes ago that you might start a war in 3 years to prevent elections. Some people, maybe pearl clutchers, might make jokes about you consolidating power, but
With
I get you.
MTG, if you can walk around with DC with MTG and not be attacked, the city is safe.
Yes.
Dude, this new press pool's crazy.
Last week you warned of what you called severe consequences if a 30-day ceasefire or any type of ceasefire were not agreed to by Russia. Will there be severe consequences? Does that change because of
I
your
don't
meeting
think you
with
need a
President Putin?
ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, one
6
country
deals.
or the other wouldn't want it. You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and, maybe they don't want that. But if you look at the 6 deals that we made peace,
There were 6?
long-term, long-running wars, I didn't do any ceasefires. Would I like the concept, I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other. But all of these deals I made without even the mention of the words ceasefire.
President Zelensky, can you explain the decision to offer Ukraine Article 5-like security guarantees, but stop short of pushing for their full membership.
Yeah, well, we haven't done anything on that yet. If you look back and you go back long before President Putin, it was always a statement that they would never allow Ukraine into NATO. So that was a statement that was made, but we haven't discussed any of that yet. We're going to be discussing it today, but we will give them very good protection, very good security.
Just context on that. Article 5 would be the part of the NATO, what do you call it, rule set or whatever, that if one country is attacked, the others jump in to help. The idea would be that, you know, if Ukraine was not part of NATO but had Article 5, you couldn't attack them without involving NATO. But then that's like functionally being in NATO, which is one of the main things that Russia doesn't want. So it's hard to, it's hard to separate the two. So it's a big sticking point. Listen, the main thing here is that Ukraine really wants some sort of security guarantee that Russia won't just stop the war, rebuild, and then attack later. Maybe right after Trump leaves office. That's the... Okay, someone said NATO. I would never say nay to a toe. You're 100% banned. 100%. 100%. That's absolutely... That's crazy work. That's crazy work. Save that for the White House press pool, dude.
That's part of it. And the people that are waiting for us, they are, I think they're very like-minded. They want to help out all.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Trump.
Are you disappointed there's no
The United States has already given hundreds of billions of dollars to this war effort in Ukraine.
Biden.
At best, it is
Did
a
you say
stalemate, and the killing continues. So, President Trump, how much more is the United States willing to give Ukraine? And President Zelensky, how much more do you want?
Well, I'll start off just by saying we're not giving anything now. We're selling weapons. This is something before, I guess the number is well over $300 billion. That was under Joe Biden, a corrupt politician, not a smart man. Never was. By the way, go back 40 years. He was not a smart man 40 years ago either. But now he's in particular bad. This was done by a corrupt administration that shouldn't have been in. And frankly, if the right results of the election were given,
petty.
if I were president, this war would have never taken place. And he would have been very happy because he would have liked to have seen. I mean, they went through hell. He went through hell. This war would have never happened. And the people that were killed, a couple of million people, a lot of people with soldiers and everything else, and the people that have been displaced and forced into other areas and other countries because of what's happened, none of that would have happened. And I'm just saying that he was a horrible president, whether it was the borders or this. He was just a horrible, corrupt president.
It's been so long now. Joe Biden is so old. He didn't even run in the last election. Move on. Not even Joe Biden. That was president before. You're talking about him 40 years ago. Joe Biden was dumb in his... By the way, Joe Biden 40 years ago, just turning a spry 50. You're saying Joe Biden was dumb when he was 55, bro.
I can. Thank you so much. So first of all, we have possibility now to buy weapon from the United States. We are thankful for this program and this opportunity. We are thankful for Europe. They pay for this. And through NATO program, for example, Pearl and etc., we have some programs where we can have some money to finance this. And this is a part, I think, it's not a part for the war and to defend us. It also will be a part for security guarantees, to strengthen our army, to rearm Ukrainian army. This is very, very important. And it depends how much money we need to rearm. For example, the question of air defense, we spoke about it with President Trump, and I'm happy that we have now bilateral decisions and we work on it with production, American production. Nobody in Europe has so many air defense like Patriots, for example. We need it very much, and this is also about defending.
Yeah, he's got the meta down.
You know, I think the good news, we make the best military equipment in the world.
I mean, you see, yeah, that's actually perfectly played. That was actually masterful. Just a bunch of thank yous, glaze American military production. Talk about it. Yeah, he really, I mean, he very, very well. And then you can see Trump lights up. He lit up right as he said that. And now Trump's going to jump in and talk about how great we have the best in the world.
Far. You mentioned the Patriots. How good are they?
Systems.
We have systems. They're literally 100% foolproof, and it's really like shooting two bullets. You know, two bullets hitting each other in the air in a space like this. The chance is 100%. It's 99 to 100%. So we sell the equipment to NATO, and NATO does what I don't know what the arrangement is that you have with, but I know that they want you to have the equipment. And we're getting the best equipment.
You should. As the commander-in-chief of the United States, you should know what arrangement NATO has with Ukraine. That is something that is an important facet of this conflict and of your role. That's really important. It's not a they, by the way. The United States is part of NATO, the largest contributor.
Into the world, but they pay us for the equipment. Under Biden, it was just crazy what was going on. I believe the number is over 300. I think it could be $350 billion worth of equipment and money and everything else. And we've made more progress in settling this war in the last 2 months than they made in 4 years. This should have been settled a long time ago, but it should have never happened. Yeah, please.
Real quickly, you pushed out on social media.
All right, Brian, go first.
You pushed out on social media about doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you expand on that and how important
Well, that's a very off-topic, just really quickly. Mail-in
Holy. I mean, he's still responding to it, which is not what he should be doing. But that's the first time I've ever heard Trump say this is off topic. That's the first time I've ever heard him respond to a question and say that is off topic. We have the president of Ukraine next to me. There should be a topic. Now, he's still going to respond to it because he's still Trump. But that's something.
ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And do you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them.
Yeah, I checked this before the stream. It's like 34 other countries guaranteed, maybe 43. Many, many other countries. many, many other countries. Well, Canada uses it. That's a bad sign. That's not going to convince him. But they're all corrupt. Yeah, exactly. A lot of rigged countries being mentioned.
Because of what's happened, massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night.
Well, you got the results that night for your election.
Many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in.
Yeah, I said the opposite, because I think it's not unrealistic to want paper ballots, actually. A paper trail. But you can have mail-in. Mail-in's fine. Um, I really like the way Taiwan does their elections. It's smaller, so it's easier, but they have the hand counted paper ballots publicly. Yeah. Also, Trump voted by mail, just to be clear.
Voting, it's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in.
Jimmy Carter said that? Jimmy Carter mail-in voting. Quote. Direct quote from Jimmy Carter. I approve the use of absentee ballots and I've been using them for more than 5 years. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter voted by mail. What the fuck is this completely made up quote? This is from the Carter Center. Dude, go back.
The one thing about mail-in voting, you will never Carter with this mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election.
That's so funny. Does he mean Jimmy Beast? That's just totally made up. Yeah, that just sounded instantly wrong to my ears. Jimmy Carter is not a notorious.
Have mail-in, and it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it, because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected, because with mail,
it's just insane. Republicans control the House, the Senate, the presidency, and the judiciary. And yet, somehow, all of our elections are rigged for the Democrats. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? There's no...
men and women's sports, and with transgender for everybody, and open borders, and all of the horrible things. And now the new thing is, they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get
transgender for everybody, and we love
like
crime.
All the people you've been watching get
hard
so
to beat that
badly hurt.
case.
I'm glad. I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad.
I can't believe I almost gave him credit for not getting sidetracked. I can't believe I almost gave him credit because he said this is off topic. But now he's ulting. He's hitting it's like he's on the election trail again. I hate to take your time, Zelensky, but I have to rant about transgender for everybody and how the Democrats love crime. Oh, boy. He's locked in, huh?
Get so badly hurt. I'm glad. I hate to take your time with
That's
this,
so
but
funny. That's so funny that he recognizes that. This is a really, I mean, this is all cosmically sad. Okay, I understand, but this is a very funny meeting because both sides have clear, and obviously Vance hasn't said a word. There's been a concerted effort to make this meeting better than the last time by both sides. But Trump can only hold in his impulses for so long. That's I'm like at the beginning of this call or this meeting, he was actually, it was like kind of surprising me. And then as it went on, he's getting more and more unhinged.
I'm glad you asked me that question. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way, and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in. They even ask me. They asked me for my license plate, for identity. I said, I don't know if I have it. They said, sir, you have to have it. I was very impressed, actually. But it's very hard to...
Didn't he confirm vote by mail? I don't think they said, sir, can we see your license plate? Let's check. I can't see where he voted in 24, but he did mail-in vote in 2020, which is the one that he said was rigged. So, in 2020, he mail-in voted. And the mailman asked for his license plate. Yep.
Cheap. With mail-in voting, as you know what happens in California, it's so corrupt, where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them. Now, we got to stop mail-in voting, and the Republicans have to lead the charge. The Democrats want it because they have horrible policy. If you have mail-in voting, you're not going to have many Democrats get elected. That's bigger than anything having to do with redistricting, believe me. And the Republicans have to get smart. We're not going to have a country. I said for a long time at rallies, you need borders and you need free and fair elections. Those two things. Otherwise, you don't have. We have strong borders now. In 90 days, Mr. President, we didn't have 1, 0, 0, and 3 months. Not one person came in.
I don't. It's such an absurdly transparent claim. The Democrats have no power right now. How are they simultaneously powerless, losing every election, but also able to rig the elections? What does that fucking mean? It's crazy. It's crazy. How is Joe Biden rigging the elections? He has no authority. That's how powerful they are. It's like you're in the White House, bro. Zelensky saying, yeah, I got a border problem too. Trying to bring it back on topic. Oh, you have a border problem? Yeah, me too. I got someone on my border. Can we talk about that? No, he's doing the right thing. Zelensky is. He's played this way better than last time. And yeah, we'll see how it goes, but crazy ult at the end there. He was doing halfway decent in the beginning.
Legally into our country. In fact, even I find that hard to believe, but it's run by a little bit of a liberal group that put out the numbers, so I guess but 0, 0, and 0. You go back a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 millions of people poured into our country. It was terrible. Thank you very much.
Zelensky just fucking keeping it all in, dude. It's fucking shell-shocked 1,000-yard stare. Just keeping it all in, just nodding and smiling, bro. Like, man, it would be so easy to be like, what the fuck are we talking about? This is about an active war that I'm here to discuss. The European heads of the nations are in this room. Why are we talking about Europe?
What security guarantees do you need from President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
Everything. And really, it includes 2 parts. First, strong Ukrainian army. That's what I began to discuss with your colleagues. And it's a lot about weapon and then people and training missions and intelligence. And second, we will discuss with our partners. It depends on the big countries, on the United States, on a lot of our friends.
And Mr.
I could just tell he's been coached, dude. He called America big. He's hitting the trigger words. Talking about how big America is, big country like the United States. Like, this is so different from his last meeting. He's saying the right things. Talking about how big the country is, how strong their missiles are, how...
President, are you willing to commit American troops to that NATO-like protection in order to get President Zelensky to a deal today?
Well, I don't know if you define it that way, but NATO-like, I mean, we have people waiting in another room right now. They're all here from Europe, biggest people in Europe, and they want to give protection. They feel very strongly about it, and we'll help them out with that. I think it's very important. I think it's very important to get the deal done.
You've been involved with the peacekeeping in Ukraine since your first day in the administration. What would you say to the Ukrainian people right now who are suffering under the Russian attacks? and hoping that the American people will stand with them.
Well, I know Ukrainian people. I've known many over the years. They're great people. They're smart. They're energetic. They love their country. I mean, they love their country, and we want to get this war ended. That's all I can do. I love the Ukrainian people, but I love all people. I love the Russian people. I love them all. I want to get the war stopped. Very important.
Mr. President, was there any aspect of your discussion with Vladimir Putin that left you disappointed?
Look, we just spoke to, I was just telling the president, I just spoke to President Putin indirectly, and we're going to have a phone call right after these meetings today. And we may or may not have a trilat. If we don't have a trilat, then the fighting continues. And if we do, we have a good chance. I think if we have a trilat, there's a good chance of maybe ending it. But he's expecting my call when we're finished with this meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right. He didn't say a goddamn. This is, by the way, you can't see it, but shout outs to JD Vance for not saying a goddamn word. Just sat there and didn't say a damn word. As the VP should, yeah. I mean, the bar was in the floor from the last meeting. It was better than last time. We'll see. We'll see. They may indeed have a trilateral meeting. And Europe, whose leaders are here, may be able to offer security guarantees to Ukraine. Especially if they, you know, it's funny because the money from NATO, a lot of it comes from America. But if they frame it to Trump as we're not spending the money, we're buying American missiles, even if it's American money going in and then going back out to missiles, it seems like he's more amenable to that. They're just finding ways to frame it for him. They're meta adapting to how to get him on board. But it is progress. You know, we would all like to see peace in Ukraine. It's insane. Okay, well, interesting to watch. World's crazy, but I guess better than the first one. Did you watch any of the Euro leader meeting? I only saw him not recognize the president of Finland. That's the only thing I saw. I don't know if any of it was. JD Vance's eyes really pop with that eyeliner. Yeah, he's been looking real good. Good for him. Looking like Nightman. It does look like Nightman. JD Vance's drag era is going to be sick. Yeah, I think so too. What's this? Trump says Xi Jinping told him China will not invade Taiwan while he's in office. When is this? It's 3 days ago? I didn't see this. Xi Jinping told him, I am very patient and China is very patient. That's kind of crazy. First of all, I don't trust the word that he says, right? Like he makes up. In his retelling of it, Xi Jinping probably called him sir. He probably said, sir, I won't ever invade while you're in office. But also, you know, this, if you think about it logically, is insane because that implies that Taiwan could be invaded as soon as 2028. Like that would be you know, that's not a strategy for America. Even if this were true, which obviously it's not. Even if it were true that Xi Jinping would never do it while Trump's in office, then then the only solution is to keep Trump in office forever. That if we just keep Trump in office forever, then Taiwan is safe.